Good morning, good morning, good morning. I thought I had started this video already, but apparently I had not. Well, good morning to you guys. I have notes here, like I officially have notes. I am officially sitting on the dock of the bay. So hopefully, I got some juice in case my power starts to run out, but so I was having this conversation and I decided what I would do. I decided what I would do is, let me see what this is saying. Don't know if I'm still on live or not. Okay. All right. So what I decided I was going to do is I was going to do a, excuse me, like a teaching on understanding that you are a spirit. And guys, I'm sorry for the lighting, but you know what? Me and that sun, we're not about to do it this morning. And until I move into my new place, I'm in a shared space. So anyway, so we're going to talk about, do you know that you are a spirit? Now, a lot of people don't understand that they are literally, you're a spirit. Now, I know you're looking at me and you're saying, well, Kathy, you're not a spirit. I'm looking at you. Yeah, you are. But, however, hold on a second. Okay. So, hopefully this thing will not go off. And I do have a power cord in case my battery starts beeping. Okay, so let's get into this though. So you're looking at me and you're saying, well, Kathy, um, you're not a spirit. I'm looking at you right now. But the truth of the matter is we're all spirit. We're all spirit. We're all spirit. This thing right here that you can touch, that you can feel with your hands, this right here is your physical body. Inside that physical body, you have your spirit. Now, listen, if your spirit leaves your body, this thing right here, this shell, it will collapse, it will fall to the ground, you will no longer exist. They will have a funeral for you to bury your body, right? So, you are a spirit, okay? Just trust me for right now. Just put that in your head and just make it real, okay? That you are a spirit. Few people know this, but we are actually spirits. We have a brain to store information, a heart or feelings for emotional connection, a body and hands for bonding. Our soul is never ours, although we can tell or feel if or when it has been touched. So, how do we as humans operate? We operate under the control of our spirit. Okay? Everybody operates under the control of your spirit. It's basically whatever's in your spirit, that is the type of behavior we are going to see from you. Whatever is in your spirit, that is the type of behavior we are going to see from you. Period. I don't care if it's work ethic. I don't care if it's in a marital relationship. I don't care if it's in a dating relationship. I don't care if it's a mother and child. I don't care if it's a child and a teacher. Whatever is in your spirit, whatever has connected to you, that is what we are going to see. Okay? So hopefully my connection is not too bad. Um, let's see. So we operate under the control of our spirit. The spirit is actually our guide. So like I said, you're going to see what's in our spirit based on our behaviors because the spirit guides us. That's why the Bible says that we should be filled with the Holy Spirit, because if the Holy Spirit is guiding you, it'll guide you into all truth. All right? Help you and lead and direct you into all things concerning life. How to treat people, how to do business, blah, 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 everything. So now your spirit, for the most part, when you're born, your spirit is clean. Okay, it doesn't matter how you're born or what circumstances you were born under. You could have been born to just a baby daddy and a baby mama. You could have been born in a home with a mother and a father, or you could have been born through rape or molestation or whatever the case may be. However, you were born. You got here. You were born. When you are born, no matter who you are, God, your spirit is clean, right? Nothing. You've just come with the only thing you have is your God plan. That's it. I call it the God plan. It's what God planted in you, His purpose in you, blah, blah, blah. Your original design. It is whole, it is kind, it is gentle, it is peaceful and easy to get along with, pleasant, caring, lovable. That is God's spirit, and that is your spirit, one and the same. See, there's no difference right there. Your spirit, God's spirit is one and the same, right? There's no difference there, right? So you are spirit, right? So we're going to talk about, so what are we controlled by? Our spirit, right? Now, during the course of life, many other spirits have a job to do. That job is to attack you and to attach things to you, okay? So remember, you are a spirit, right? This is just your house, right? This is just the temple. The Bible literally calls it the temple. This is your body, right? We know that. That's just common sense. But your spirit man that guides you, that helps you make decisions, that really guides your behavior, right? That spirit is here. It's in you. It's who you are. Other spirits try to attach to it, attack it, and attach to it. Why? Because when they are successful, they get to be the God of your life. They get to rule, they get to reign, they get to perform, they get to use you, basically. So it's kind of like, do you want God to use you, or you want the enemy or the devil to use you? Do you want godly things to rule in your life, or negative or ungodly things? So whenever you do not operate under God's spirit, that you can easily identify, because the things you do are going to be godly and not ungodly. The things you do are going to be good and not hateful or mean. You can generally recall, if you're not operating under those spirits, you can generally recall or remember how or when those other spirits attach to you, right? So you can generally recall the time, place, or the person who or what introduced you to that spirit. So now I want you to think about your spirit. And I want you to think about, if you're not operating under God's spirit, under God's will, under God's wisdom, if you're not doing things that are good, acceptable, pleasant, loving, and kind, who introduced you to that other stuff? So who would have introduced you to, if you think back over your life, where did you get the idea that yelling and cursing and screaming was okay? Where did you get that from? If you look back over your life, where did you get your sexual behavior from, right? Who gave you that message that having multiple partners was okay, that it was acceptable, that it's just a part of life, that's just what we do? So somewhere along the line, you've gotten attacked or introduced to these other spirits that are not the God intended. They're not what God intended for your life. They're not the original plan that God had for your life. And you know they're not because of the fruit that they yield, right? So if what I'm doing and how I'm living and how I'm presenting myself, if all of that is at the end of the day, at the bottom line, is getting me this not so good result, this ungodly result, unpositive, unkind, ungentle, unbeneficial, then I got to look at it and say, something entered into my life that was not in line with my true identity, my original form, my true spirit, and what God would want me to possess in my life. So this is true with abuse as well as abundance. So with abuse, the wrong spirit can attach to you. And even if you have an abundance, you still, the other day I called rappers the producers of, what did I call them? The producers of, promoters of, it was something I called them. It's like the promoters of, I forgot what I said. So basically, you can have abundance, right? It's just like Future. Y'all know the rapper Future. Future has abundance. He has wealth. Future also has like 5 kids by 5 different baby mamas. So even in abundance, even because you have a lot of money, you can still be operating in the wrong spirit, right? You can still have some things that attach themselves to you that are still leading you down the wrong path. So in abuse as well as in abundance, you always got to check your spirit. It's true of positive influence and negative impact. People remember. Let me see what this is. Oh, people remember someone saying you'll be great, just as they remember people saying you'll never be anything. So what I'm saying to you is look over your life. Look at where you are right now. Make a judgment based on what you see of what's in your spirit. And remember, you'll always know because of the simple fact that you can always judge your behaviors. And then when you judge your behaviors, you also need to judge what is the result of my behavior. Because that shows you what's in your spirit. You know, I can tell what's in your spirit by the way you dress, by the way you talk to people. I can tell what's in your spirit by the way you behave. You know, I can tell what's been introduced to you. I can tell what your environment is. I can tell all of that based on how you operate. And so we want to become kings and queens of our spirit, and we want to rule and reign and to dominate. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. So why? Why do we notice these things? Why? Because those are spiritual. Every time something attaches to you or introduces itself to you, those are what I call spiritual shifts, right? So it's kind of like I remember in 2007, a young man committed suicide. He committed suicide because, first of all, he didn't know any better. Second of all, he had children. And he said that his uncles, these are his words, he says his uncles was telling him, hey, get it, you know, smash all the women that you can. Well, it ended up he had a bunch of kids. So basically he had a bunch of kids, and then guess what he had? A bunch of child support. So you're talking about a 19-year-old. I don't think he was 21. I don't even think he was 25. I can't remember his age. But you're talking about a young man who now, based on what was fed to his spirit, this belief that you could have sex with random people, smash as many girls as you can, now you have this huge child support issue that you really can't deal with. And now what was introduced to your spirit, it has produced what? It hasn't produced anything good, because now you're stuck with child support. Now you're stuck with struggle. Now you're stuck with financial struggle. Now you're stuck with emotional struggle. You're just basically tormented because you took on the spirit. You took on the guide of people who, they didn't have the original plan. They didn't have the original God plan, which is to do what? Find your wife, y'all have babies. So now because you took on that spirit, and he said he got it, his uncles just encouraged him to smash everything he could smash. Well, now you got 5 kids, and now you got to pay child support to 5 different houses. Ultimately, the stress of it, according to him, led him to commit suicide. So you have to watch what's being put in your spirit. And I don't care who is being put in there by. It could be getting put in there by your mom. Your mom walking around, cussing, acting a fool, jumping out the car, fighting people, all this old crazy stuff. Your brother in a gang, now he wants you to be in a gang. Your sister, sleeping with older men or people with money, and now she wants you to sleep with older men and people with money. All of these things you have out here that are trying to attach themselves to your spirit, right? Your spirit, to drag you down some crazy road. So you have to really watch what's being introduced to you. You have to really watch the people that you're around. You have to really evaluate how you think, what you do, right? I'm talking about you evaluating. Why? Because these things are spiritual shifts. They're going to shift you into being the type of person that you really have no desire to be that type of person. Especially when you get older and you look back over your life, you'll be like, man, why did I do that? Why was I making those decisions? Why was I sleeping with all those people? Why? because you experienced some spiritual shifts, because people were introducing you to that low, degrading, demonic spirit, attaching it to your spirit, attacking you with it, and it attached to you. So those are, I call them interrupters. The things, the words, the actions, the deeds, the behaviors, and generally are generally from someone else that attack your life, right? And then try to attach to your life. So you can be attacked, but I want you to have power over the attachment, right? Or if you are attached because you grew up in a home like that, or you grew up in circumstances like that, if you are attached, I want you to be able to loose yourself from those things. And the Bible talks about loosening, binding, and all of that. So if you are attached, I want you to be able to loose yourself. If you're not attached, I want you to be able to continue to guard yourself. So when things do try to attach to you, that you don't let them get into your spirit, because you are a spirit, okay? So let's see. The reason it attacks is because a lot of times, or in part, we don't fully understand our being as a spirit. We thought we were people. And that's a lot of people. And we are people, but people are ruled by spirits. And that's another thing. A lot of people think, hey, I'm just a human being. This is how it goes. So you will see, that people think, oh, this is the community that we grew up in. And I read a post the other day that said, even though you grew up in the hood, you don't have to act ghetto. So it's kind of like, even though you grew up in the hood, you don't have to be subject to the environment that you grew up in. Even me, myself, growing up in the projects and seeing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. As I saw it, I kind of just knew to myself, I don't want any of this. Like, really? This black, ugly bird? Go! And so anyway, I realized I don't want any of this stuff attaching to me. I don't want to identify with any of this stuff. And so I'm like, people were having babies as teenagers. I was like, I don't want to do that. People were dropping out of school. I was like, I don't want to do that. People were joining gangs. Go! It's a bird. I was like, I don't want to do that. And as much as I was saying, I don't want to do that, something still attacked me and attached itself to me. And it took me years. It didn't happen overnight. Took me years and took God to get those things loosed and out of my life. Promiscuity, hurting other people, fighting. I really, I'll fight you if you want to fight me, but hey, we could do that. And so just cursing, oh my God. Y'all, I have been struggling with cursing for so long. I think this is the first year I've completely beat cursing. And I'm not telling you no lie. I don't walk around cursing people out and stuff like that. Or anything like that. I know, you're shocked, right? Oh my God, Sister Kathleen Harris. I struggled for a long time, and you know the reason why? Is because I started cursing so young, and I would curse under my breath. Even as a teenager, I would walk in my room, literally cussing people out, cussing my mom out, cussing, and if it was my sister or brother, I just cussed them out. But I literally grew up with this strong, I'm talking about, people used to tell me that my tongue was so powerful that I could make somebody want to commit suicide. That's how strong my verbiage was. Imagine having strong verbiage and then cussing at the same time. Okay? Look, Samuel Jackson ain't got nothing on me. You understand? So it took me a long time, but the more and I wouldn't do it on I wasn't walking around just cussing or nothing. But it's just it was so in me to when I would get angry, sometimes a cuss word would come out. Now, this ain't every day. This ain't every week. It could be once a year. It could be once every 5 years. It could be whatever. But I hated it so bad. So one thing I had to learn was stop being angry. Control your anger. That's number one, right? So that spirit of anger that had attached itself to me, that had attacked me and attached itself to me, that made me feel like, hey, when I get angry, I got a right to pop off. I got a right to go in. I got a right to, that's just how I roll. And then other things that had happened in my life had seeded anger in me. The molestation, the rape, the physical abuse, the emotional abuse, the mental abuse, so many things that had happened in my childhood and growing up and being in bad relationships and domestic violence. And I'm just like, I'm a fighter, like, I'm always on one. So all of those things in my spirit, all of those things that had attacked